Hey everyone, so this video is going to be nothing to do with pulling any dungeons or anything like that. It's going to be more of an informative video showing gear, spec, and all that stuff, just talking a bit about the runs. I decided to just make it a separate video because I've touched on some of them, like gear and stuff, in the RFC video and all that stuff, but if you're going to watch the videos, and say you only want to power level through SM, you're never going to watch the RFC video or the SFK video, which means you're not going to get that information. So I'm just going to make one dedicated video specifically to that. And if you want to get the information that way, you can without having to watch any other videos if you don't want to do carries through that. So this mage was one of my alts. I had people while I was doing SM runs and selling them leveling their mages, and they wanted to know how to do basically the pathing of how I clear them so that they can sell runs or level their friends or whatever at 60. So that's why I ended up just leveling this character and then gearing him out. So the gear he has isn't that great. Um, you don't need amazing gear in order to do this, especially the lower level dungeons. You mostly just need health and mana just so you can survive. So the gear he's going to have is some spell damage, not as much. If you have a lot of tier 1 and tier 2, you're probably going to have over 350 spell power or something like that. Again, everything we're clearing with is going to be AoEs, which don't really scale well with spell power as much as, say, a Frostbolt or a single target spell or something like that. So if your spell power is kind of low, like 200 or 180-ish or something, it's not going to be too big of a deal because you're not going to lose that much damage. If you want to supplement more crit or something, if or stats, if you're just unable to get the spell power, you can do so. So I'm just going to go over each piece of gear. In the helmet, we have Dreamweave. I tried getting the Crimson Hat from Strat Undead. I've run it a bunch of times, haven't seen it drop yet, but that's the piece I would use here for a newer mage. You can also, if you have nothing else, you can put on something like a Dreadweave helmet or the 1% crit huge stat helm from Dire Maul North off the last boss. You could do something like that. Of course, if you have tier 1, tier 2, then all of this gear doesn't really matter. You're going to have way better gear anyway. This neck is just from last boss in UBRS. It's just for stats. The next piece is going to be stats. If you don't have a crazy neck here, you can even use just the SM one with 7 int, 7 stam, 7 spirit. If you're able to get the one off Mara, it's like 10 int, 8 stam or something like that. It's a bit higher stats than the SM Cathedral one. You can use that piece in this slot. The rest of the pieces, if you don't already have better, you kind of just want Necropile. Um, just it has huge stats. The cape is going to be from Hinterlands, the Elite Quest. You can easily solo this yourself if you're 60, if you haven't already done it during leveling. If I've not done barely any quests, so I had to go solo that later because all my stuff comes through dungeons. Robe of the Archmage. This is nice. Obviously, it has no stam, but depending on your crits in some pulls and how many mages you have shooting you, feeding you mana from resists, you may or may not want to take advantage of the mana restore here. You could just macro it in with your mana ruby or something like that. It's pretty helpful. Otherwise, I'd recommend Necropile, just finishing off the 5 set. You're going to lose, I think, 9 spell power overall versus wearing this chest, but you're going to gain like 22 stamina and some spirit. And then you're also going to lose the 1% crit and the mana effect as well. Again, more Necropile. In regards to enchants, you're going to want 7 stam. And then for the weapon, you're going to want spell power. You can get the spell power on it, but you're going to get Rod of the Ogre Magi. You can literally just buy this from a hunter, probably for 20 gold or something like that. The Storm Rager comes from a quest in Eastern Plaguelands, I believe. It's the last boss of or last quest of a huge chain. Again, I'm going to link all these in the description with their WoW HUD links so you can see exactly where you get them. Hands of Power, you can double farm it with 2 mages if you want. You don't need to keep going through with a full group hoping you get the roll. Arcanist, I ended up just buying, but if you don't have gold or anything, you can just buy Dread Mist, or what is it? Yeah, Dread Mist belt on the auction house. It's probably like 3 gold or something. It has good stats. More Necropile. Again, all the enchants and all that stuff. You're gonna want obviously 100 HP, 100 HP, but if you want like a budget friendly, you just put like armor kits on everything. And the only thing you cannot get away from is the minor speed increase to boots. You 100% need this no matter what. It just saves you so much health from preventing damage just because you're faster than all the mobs. Um, you cannot do these runs without this enchant. You need it 100%. Blood of the Martyr, another long chain in EPL. Band of the Hierophant, I think I paid like 20 gold or something for this off the auction house. It's just a stat ring, but obviously you're going to want the Cyclopean band or something from BRD. Yeah, this one. This is a good stat one, and it gives you some spell damage and healing. So any rings like this are pretty good. As long as you have around 2.8k health, you should have pretty much no problem doing any of these pulls. 2.8k health with like more spell power than I have for sure. Briarwood Reed. This might be a pain for people to get. You can get this one pretty easily, but this one will be difficult. Again, you're not losing too much because AoEs don't scale too well with spell power. So it's not really an issue if you use something else in this slot. Um, if you want, you can use Uther Strength. It's normally like 10 to 20 gold on the auction house. This will put a 200 HP absorb shield on you. It procs quite often. I know it's only 2%, but when you have like 50 mobs or something hitting you, it's going to proc quite a bit, and it's better than no slot at all, of course, in your trinket slot. The only downside is this only seems to proc if you're actually taking the damage. So if you have 50 mobs on you and some are hitting you and everything's being absorbed because you have barrier or mana shield or something like that up, it's never going to proc. It's only going to proc in the times that you don't have the shield up. And all the pulls I've designed to pretty much so that you don't ever really lose health. So I don't know, it just depends what you want. I would recommend getting this if you have no trinket at all. In regards to Spec, um, this character is designed specifically for this AoE dungeon grinding, leveling people's alts and friends, or making gold from selling these runs, or gold farming. When I do any gold farming in the past, now I don't do it anymore because you'll make way more money selling runs. But in the past, I would never blizzard farm. I would just Cone of Cold. So you'll always be able to save points here. I'm never going to raid, so I don't need improved Frostbolt. And I'm never going to PvP on this character either, so none of those matter. But you're going to want to go the typical AoE spec in Frost, except you're going to get 2 in Frost Warding for the extra bit of armor it gives to your Frost Ice Armor. You're going to want to skip Frostbite and skip Blizzard, and you're just going to want to max everything else out except for Winter's Chill. You're going to have no points in Fire, and you're going to have make sure you max Magic Absorption. You're going to have an extra 2% crit here on your Arcane Explosion and get these other talents as well. So let's say for some reason you really want Blizzard, you can put 3 points into this, and you can opt to lose 1 point in this and 2 points in this. You'll still have 3, and that should feed you enough mana on resist that you shouldn't run in any of your SM pulls. It will make it kind of more annoying because you'll have to drink more often, but if you really rather prefer having Blizzard, then you can adjust your spec that way. I believe that's it. If there's anything else I forgot, I will put it in the description below. I don't think I've forgot anything else. It's just spec and gear. But yeah, I guess I'll just go over all the instances and what level I've run them to on alt. So if you're a horde, you're gonna want to quest to 8, and then as soon as you hit 8, you're gonna go into RFC, and you're gonna get power leveled through RFC all the way to 19. If you feel like leaving RFC early, you can go to Wailing Caverns or SFK when you're around 15, instead of staying in RFC. Preferably, it's better in my opinion to just stay in RFC. The XP is still really good. The mobs don't go great in 19, but if you do want to go to a second dungeon and not be in RFC, I would recommend SFK just because of the chance to get twink items, the sword and the dagger, which would be Shadowfang sword and the Assassin's Blade. Wailing Caverns is quite long. It's about 20 minutes to do a run in that versus SFK being 10 minutes. But yeah, unfortunately it's a lot of horde centered stuff until you get to, I mean, technically you can get to SFK as an alliance, but for something say like an RFC where it's just in your town, the only version you guys have would be Stockades. Stockades, I believe you can enter at 14 or 15. The mobs in there are 25 elites, and the pathing on the poles is kind of annoying because it's one straight path down the middle, and then one to the right, one to the left. And down each of those paths, it's room on the left, room on the right, room on the left, room on the right. And you have to keep going back and forth, pulling everything while you're trailing all the elites on you from the previous rooms, and there's no room to really pull them. So you kind of have to do that place in 3 pulls. The bosses in there do stun. If you do want to see me make a video for that, just let me know and in the comments or something, or Wailing Caverns. If you guys really want to run that for some reason, let me know and I'll make a video just showing how I pull it. But there isn't anything like crazy efficient you can do in say Stockades, for example. There's 3 paths. The entire dungeon is 3 paths, and you have to pull it a certain way. There's no uh, block pulls to save time to do any of that. So that's that. And yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoy the other videos on all the other dungeons, all the power logging stuff and all that. And if you have any other questions, I'll put all my character names in the description as well, and you can reach me in game on Skeram Horde side if you want to. Otherwise, you can leave a comment at the bottom of any of the videos and I'll try and get back to you as quick as I can. So thanks again for watching and enjoy all the videos.